Hi everyone, my name's Natasha Farrant. I'm the author of this book, The Girl Who Talked to Trees, illustrated by the super clever and talented Lydia Corry, and shortlisted for the Alligator's Mouth Award, something I am super excited about. Now, the good people at Alligator's Mouth have asked me to read to you a little bit. And so, without further ado, let's dive in. In a secret valley, not so very far away from here, there sits a famous old house. It is a grand sort of place, with tall pillars and lots of chimneys and a clock tower. But that is not what it is famous for. It is famous for its trees. The house stands in parkland at the top of a hill. It looks on to a big lawn dotted with beech, an elm, and, of course, the splendid tulip tree. The lawn slopes to a river lined with hornbeam, willow and alder. There is a walled orchard in the park too, with a dozen different sorts of apples. Over the bridge opposite the house is a wood full of oak, lime, hazel and box. It's a small wood these days, but once upon a time it was a great forest, the hunting ground of a prince. Sometimes, if you listen carefully, it's almost as though you can hear voices among the trees. One day, it is said, they will grant a wish to the right person. Which is where our story begins, with a girl called Olive. This is Olive. Olive was 11 years old, not very tall, with hair in pigtails and little wire glasses which often slipped down her nose. She was clever and kind and extremely shy. And her best friend was a 400-year-old oak tree. A tree, you say? How strange. But think about it. When you are so shy you dare not even look at anyone in case they want to talk to you, or worse, want you to talk to them, a tree is a very sensible choice for a friend. Broad and comfortable, Olive's oak stood alone in a meadow on the hillside opposite the house. She spent most of her spare time in its company, reading or drawing, or simply lying on a branch, watching things. Olive, who rarely spoke to anyone, told the oak tree everything. When she was sad, it soothed her with its rocking. When she was happy, its leaves rustled with a sound like laughter. Sometimes she hugged it. Her family didn't understand. "Here comes Olive, back from talking to her tree," her bossy sister Rosa would say, as Olive trudged up the lawn with twigs sticking out of her hair. "I do worry our Olive is going to turn into a tree," her mother, Lady Josephine, told visitors, while Sir Sidney, her father, shook his head. Even Nana was concerned. "I like trees too, dear," she told Olive, "but you should have human friends." The servants secretly called her the girl who talked to trees. But everyone loved her, so on the whole they didn't interfere. Until breakfast, one sunny spring morning, when her father announced that he had a new plan. His family looked warily at each other. Sir Sidney often had new plans, and they always meant chaos and disruption. "I have decided," Sir Sidney declared, "to build a new house." "But we already have a house, dear," reasoned Lady Jo. That's Sir Sidney and the family at breakfast. "Not to live in," said Sir Sidney. "A summer house for parties and picnics." "How much would it cost?" Lady Jo was much more sensible than her husband. Sir Sidney waved his hand as if to say, "What is money compared to parties and picnics?" "I will build it in the meadow," he said. "The meadow," thought Olive. "Think about it," cried Sir Sidney. "Summer evenings, the moon, the stars, looking back over the valley, the park, all lit up. It would be impressive." Sir Sidney was a man who liked to impress. Olive screwed up the courage to speak. "Where exactly in the meadow?" she asked. Her father shifted on his chair, and Olive knew. She just knew. "Where my oak tree is," she said. So Sydney nodded. "I'm sorry about that. But there are lots of other trees." "Not like mine," said Olive. "The oak tree is my friend." Everybody stared, even the servants. It was rare enough to hear Olive talk, let alone stand up to her father. And possibly because he was so surprised, Sir Sidney said, "Very well. I have to go out now, but I will be back at tea time. If by then you can think of something more impressive than my summer house, I will not cut down the oak." "Do you promise?" asked Olive. "I promise." Sir Sidney looked at his watch. "You have just over 7 hours." "I'll do it," Olive vowed. "I will think of something." She ran out of the breakfast room, down the big lawn, over the bridge and through the woods to the meadow, where all her determination left her, and she crumpled at the foot of her oak tree. She had no idea what to do next. The wind breathed through the oak tree's branches. Olive curled up among its roots. "I wish you would help me," she said. The oak leaves sighed. The trees in the woods sighed. Olive began to feel drowsy. She closed her eyes and yawned. She mustn't sleep. She mustn't. She had to think. She slept. The clock in the tower struck the hour. When Olive woke, the meadow, the oak, and the view of the valley were all gone.
Hello, my name is Lydia Corry and I'm an illustrator, and I did the illustrations for this book, which is called The Girl Who Talked to Trees, written by the wonderful Natasha Farrant, and we're absolutely over the moon that it's been nominated for the brilliant Alligator's Mouth Award, so thank you. This was a really wonderful collection of stories to illustrate. The first time I read the manuscript I was like, wow, I had so many ideas and could really picture the images in my head. The stories are so rich with nature, from deep roots and high branches to a Persian garden, an underwater forest full of mermaids, tulip trees and wild apple trees. But probably my favourite story in the collection is The Linden Tree, in which a young boy named Luca transforms himself into a squirrel. So today I thought I would show you a little rough painting of the squirrel. I work mostly in watercolour and pencil. I hope you enjoy it.